Baby girl, you're so damn fine, though. Wanna know if I can hit it from behind, though. I'm sipping on you like some fine wine, though. When it's over, I press rewind, though. Talking bands, I got it. Benjamins in my pocket. I traded my truth for some robbers. And he's playing ball now that he's gonna rob me. Yeah, I got the Glock in my pocket. 17 shots, no 38. Yeah, I got the Glock in my pocket. 17 shots, no 38. She's
We're going to jump onto Rangers first. Rangers were host to Motherwell in the Cup. They went down a goal to 0 first. Motherwell took the lead. But they got 2 goals back. Kenny Miller getting the winner. I'm going to come to you first, Bryce. Clearly, the league's really, I hate to say it, but gone for Rangers and other teams, similar situations this year. Celtic seem to be running off with it again. What do you think? Is it mainly in the Cup for this year Rangers need to focus on? They fell out the League Cup in the semi-finals to Celtic, so could they have a cup run this year? Maybe get to a semi-final itself?
I think you're right, yeah. I mean, it's pretty clear that the league is all but over for one team. That team, of course, Celtic, not that it needs being said. They are so far ahead now that it's impossible for anyone else to catch up, and I think pretty much every team will be looking to kind of go as far as they can now in the Cup. Possibly because Celtic are still in the Cup as well. Obviously, if they win the league and the Cup, then it goes to the second place team that will get into the kind of Europe. So lots of teams will be battling out just to get to the final for a place in Europe, I suppose. Yeah.
Do you get that look? Do you think Celtic are favourites to win the Cup? We know Hibs in dramatic fashion beat Rangers in the final last year, getting the first trophy, first Scottish Cup trophy in over 100 years. Do you think that now it is time for Celtic to reclaim that title and teams are going to push for that second spot in the league?
I think the Cup is great for teams that maybe aren't doing so well in the league. I know Rangers are still second, but for them, in their history, not winning the league and being that far behind Celtic will hurt their pride, even if they are recovering from their dire state that was 4 years ago. But yeah, I think you're right. Celtic will be favourites for the Cup, but the Cup represents a good chance for other teams to sort of attack Celtic on a level playing field. Because everyone's about 20 points behind, they're going to feel like they're just struggling and they're up against it. Celtic have been, with Brendan Rodgers coming in, they've been a pretty incredible side, to be honest, almost even more dominant than previous seasons we've seen. But I think Rangers could at least get to a semi-final here, if not the final. If they get to the final, they'll obviously want to win it, because no team gets to the final and doesn't want to. They feasibly can, because they've seen they weren't the latest Old Firm game they played. They almost beat Celtic. They didn't manage to pull the job off, but it is possible. Obviously Celtic are focusing on the league as well, but they might not be so focused because they're probably going to win it anyway. They won't have to put all their effort in, so we'll see. But I wouldn't be too surprised to see an upset, as you said, with Hibs last year. Incredible scenes.
Yes, Celtic's squad has been in more depth than other teams we've seen in the league. They've got a lot of players at disposal and comfortable two-leg players. I think recently was Ryan Christie's been left to go on loan to Aberdeen for the rest of the season. Do you think Rangers should develop their squad? They should maybe sell on players. I think one of the rumours was Barry Mackay was a £4 million offer had been offered for the player. Bryce, do you think you should sell these kind of players, get the money, invest in other players, and then for a while become a selling club, and then when you can get a good enough budget for your club, you can then push on, maybe battle the Celtic team more?
Well, I mean, you talked about Christie leaving Celtic there. I don't think he's really an influential player for Celtic, so it wouldn't be too much of a big loss for them. Celtic have kind of good strength and depth in their squad, so that's good for them. Rangers, on the other hand, I mean, you talk about them being a selling club, but will they ever have enough money that they want? They've had their troubles in the past regarding that. So, I mean, Barry Mackay is kind of a key player for them, kind of in midfield. He's been there since they went down to the 3rd division, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
So he's been there for a long time. He knows all the coaches and everything. So people will kind of look to him to kind of bring the team together. Obviously in midfield you can do that, kind of spraying passes out left and right. Maybe it is his time to move on from Rangers though. I'd say Rangers kind of look like they're going to settle into that, battling for second place spot over this season, possibly even next season as well. It's a wee bit early to predict that. It's not even started. Well, this one hasn't even ended yet. But so if he moves on, I can see a couple of other folk moving on, and hopefully that'll bring in, a wee bit more younger talent. They develop them up. There's no reason why they can't get a good squad going again.
Yeah, definitely. And from Rangers, we're going to move to the other side of Glasgow. It's Celtic. Their fun in the sun ended as they returned to Dubai, from Dubai even, and travelled to Albion Rovers. Got them a 3-0 win against the club. It was a very stalemate game. Sinclair took the lead around about the 35th minute, and then it was 2 late goals that sealed the win off for a 3-0 win. Brendan Rodgers said himself that this game shouldn't be treated any differently, say, to a game against Alloa or Barcelona. I think those are the two kind of complete opposites he threw out there. But do you agree with that? Do you think every team should be treated the same, even though, for example, Albion Rovers are a League One side?
I think within reason that's quite a good philosophy to have, because you never ever want to underestimate the opposition you're playing against. Neither should you be too feared, even if they are technically better on paper than you. You shouldn't go in like being scared of losing, saying you will never ever pull anything off. But I think for Brendan Rodgers at Celtic, everything seemed to work for him. I know fans were frustrated with Ronnie Dyler last season. He did win the league, but it just wasn't in the fashion they really should have done. They theoretically had more competition this year with Rangers coming back, but as we've just discussed, Rangers are kind of a team rebuilding themselves. And Celtic, they haven't actually lost a game in the league. No, have they lost? They won't have lost a cup game.
No, they've domestically they've won all games except one. And the game that they drew was against Inverness Caley Thistle, who they face in the next round.
So yeah, I think it is for Brent. It is quite. I didn't actually know he'd said that, but it doesn't surprise me to hear Brendan coming out with that philosophy, because he is very much about sort of building confidence and, like, we use the cliche, but character within the team. I do think that is quite a refreshing approach. Getting back to the original question,
yeah, and as I said just there, Celtic are facing Inverness Caley Thistle, who have knocked Celtic out in the past, and cue that Super Caley chant in for the listeners. Bryce, do you think Celtic have a tough game in their hands? Inverness are the only team in the league to have stopped Celtic winning so far. They held them to a 1-1 draw at home for Caley Thistle. Do you think it could be a Scottish Cup upset for Celtic?
Theoretically, no. I mean, it's to kind of give you the short answer, Celtic should outclass them on kind of every part of the pitch. But in also saying that, you've got it's a wee bit of a cliche, you do have the magic of the cup, and Inverness are kind of rock bottom in the Premiership at the moment, so they're kind of gonna, I think they should pour everything into this cup at the moment, see what that can get them.
Yeah. And from Celtic, we're going to go to the reigning champions. I bet Hibs fans listening are excited to hear that. It was Hibs travelled to Hearts' ground, but it wasn't Hearts they were facing, it was Bonnyrigg Rose, and they won 8-1. Really impressive start for Hibs. Gave it all despite maybe sealing the game off with maybe a 4-0 win. I think they just kept going and going. It was almost a battering for Bonnyrigg Rose. But real professionalism in Neil Lynn's performance, you think?
Yeah, I think I'm glad you mentioned that the 4-0 bit, because they could easily have just, like, they probably won the game within, like, the first 50 minutes. They could have just sat back and not got cocky, but just sort of not really tried, but they kept on going and they kept scoring goals. And I think it is the sign of what Neil Lennon is doing at Hibs, I think, because they're 6 points clear of the Championship. They're looking like they're, without any major hiccups, should hopefully be coming back into the Premiership. And I think that's what most Scottish football fans, neutral Scottish football fans, would like to see, all, like, the established good teams back in the Premiership. But yeah, I think Hibs, the professionalism, as you mentioned, is very good. To keep the concentration up, because I suppose when you are in that position and you're winning, it is very hard to keep sort of playing at the same level. I don't see Neil Lennon will want the players to practice and keep maintaining that concentration as much as they can for future preparation for further games. But obviously Hibs won the cup last year, and we can't predict the future. But if they keep that sort of level up, they could spring a surprise. And I think if they do come up against Premiership teams, it'll be a good test for them. Because if they are going to get back into that league, they can sort of monitor themselves up against their potential rivals for next season.
Well, speaking of their potential rivals, they will potentially face Hearts away from home in Edinburgh Derby. Hearts are having a replay tonight following a 1-0 draw against Wraith Rovers. Bryce, you think Ian Cathro, it's not really been the best of starts for him, his first full-time, first position managerial role. Do you think, trust that he wins tonight, it's going to be a tough game for him against Hibs? On paper, you do see it's a Premiership side versus a Championship side, but both teams' form has been very different this year.
Yeah, Hearts they've kind of been put under fire from the media, since Ian Cathro's taken over. He's a young manager with a lot to prove, and not all of his kind of tactics have worked out for him so far, but that's not to say that people should start losing faith. I mean, Hearts are still a good team. They've still got they should still beat Wraith Rovers is what I'm trying to say, really. Seeing I had the honour of watching Dunfermline beat Wraith Rovers earlier on, and during that game Wraith Rovers looked kind of woeful, to be honest. So it really just depends. If Wraith Rovers turn up and play, Hearts might have a good game out of it, and if they don't, Hearts should kind of steamroll them, really.
Yeah, I'm going to come back to you about Dunfermline now. They had a very dramatic game. They won 3-2 against Alloa Athletic. Will face, I think it's Hamilton in the next round. Do you think Dunfermline can go for this season?
I'd like to see them. Dunfermline have kind of employed this tactic of, it's going to sound a wee bit Michael Owen-esque, of scoring more goals than your opponent. The defence that they have is not the strongest by any means, but they do have a good attack. So during their match against Alloa, which got them through the last round, and now they play Hamilton, they scored 3 goals very early on, and then towards the end of the match they conceded 2, and I was kind of thinking, oh no, what's going to happen here again? They're going to concede, it's going to go to another replay, but no, they managed to hold out. So hopefully if Dunfermline keeps scoring, and they are the form team at the moment, in their last 10 matches they haven't lost. In the last 8 have been in the league, they've won 4, drawn 4, so they are a form team. Can't see why they can't go far in this, yeah.